In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on October 20th, 2023, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Texas Tech versus Brigham Young University. In this upcoming clash, the Texas Tech Red Raiders will embark on their inaugural visit to Provo, Utah, to face off against the Brigham Young University Cougars for the very first time. The unique setting in Provo, Utah, is a point of interest, particularly for these traditional Big 12 programs. So far, only Cincinnati, another newcomer to the Big 12, has ventured to Provo this year, and they faced a close battle, losing 35-27 in a game that could have gone either way. This week, the Red Raiders are laying more than a field goal on the road, despite their less favorable win-loss record and a recent disappointing 38-21 home loss to Kansas State. This result has caused a significant drop in support for the Red Raiders, with early week reports indicating that many bettors are backing Brigham Young University as a home underdog. Public underdogs seem to be a theme in Big 12 action this week, with TCU and Oklahoma State in similar situations. However, Brigham Young University is the only one of them playing at home, and they aim to seize this opportunity. The Texas Tech Red Raiders are seeking their second road win to even their record. Texas Tech has struggled on the road, losing 6 of their last 8 away games. Quarterback Tyler Show has completed 60.4% of his passes for 746 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Receivers Miles Price and Jaron Bradley have combined for 602 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns, with Xavier White contributing 19 receptions. The Red Raiders' ground game is averaging 179.6 yards per game, with Taj Brooks leading the way with 786 yards and 5 touchdowns. On the defensive side, Texas Tech is allowing an average of 25 points and 379.4 yards per game, with Ben Roberts leading the team in tackles, Steve Linton recording 3 sacks, and Malik Dunlap securing 3 interceptions. The Brigham Young University Cougars aim to maintain their perfect home record and improve to 5-2 for the season. Brigham Young University has won 4 consecutive home games. Quarterback Kedon Slovis has completed 56.8% of his passes for 1,392 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Receivers Chase Roberts and Isaac Rex have combined for 696 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns, with Darius Lassiter contributing 19 receptions. The Cougars' ground game is averaging 67.7 yards per game, with L.J. Martin leading the way with 345 yards and 4 touchdowns. Defensively, Brigham Young University is allowing 26 points and 398.2 yards per game, with Max Tooley leading the team in tackles, Tyler Batty recording 3.5 sacks, and Jakob Robinson securing 3 interceptions. Despite their 4-2 record, it appears that the Cougars may not be fully prepared to compete against stronger Big 12 teams. They lack playmakers on both sides of the ball, and their only conference victory so far came against another Big 12 newcomer, Cincinnati. Texas Tech presents another high-powered offense that is likely to challenge the Cougars' defense, much like TCU did. The Red Raiders are proficient in both running and passing the football, even with the likelihood of a freshman, Strong, making his first ever start at quarterback. The Red Raiders have enough offensive firepower to hold off the Cougars. Brigham Young University is not particularly strong on either side of the ball, ranking in the lower third in both offense and defense. Despite their 4 wins, a closer examination reveals that only one can be considered a quality win, which was an upset against Arkansas at Arkansas. However, the Razorbacks are currently on a 5-game losing streak and may not be a reliable measure of quality opponents. Offensively, Texas Tech can compete with any team and has demonstrated this with high-scoring performances against Oregon, Houston, and Baylor. While the Red Raiders may commit turnovers, it's uncertain whether the Cougars have the offensive capability to capitalize on them at this point. The fact that Texas Tech's offense simply needs to perform at their usual level and should be able to do so against a defense that allows similar numbers suggests that the betting market may be overvaluing Brigham Young University, possibly due to the half of football they saw from Strong last week. week, even though he might not even play. It's worth noting that Brigham Young University had a week off to prepare for a road trip to TCU last week, but they suffered a heavy 44-11 loss, which doesn't bode well for them. Even if Morton's status remains uncertain at the time of this analysis, Texas Tech on the road still appears to be a favorable choice. If Morton plays, there's a good chance he can match up with the overvalued quarterback Slovis. The Red Raiders' offense is known for its ability to move the ball methodically regardless of the quarterback. Taking into account the public underdog scenario that Brigham Young University finds itself in their defense, which has struggled against football bowl subdivision opponents this season, there seems to be no reason to fear facing Brigham Young University at home in this situation. Brigham Young University simply doesn't seem to be a strong football team, ranking 123rd in total offense and 132nd in rushing offense. Their defense is also subpar, ranking 100th in total defense and 72nd in scoring defense. Although Brigham Young University performs better at home, it will take more than home field advantage for them to win my support. Texas Tech has its own issues, but they possess an above-average offense that should find success against Brigham Young University's weak defense. The line for this game has shifted significantly in favor of the Texas Tech Red Raiders, and it appears justified. So the Texas Tech Raiders to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Brigham Young University has struggled to stop quality opponents this season, conceding 44 points to TCU last week and a combined 97 points to 3 other quality teams in Arkansas, Cincinnati, and Kansas. Texas Tech enters this matchup with a new quarterback, but he will have experienced playmakers around him and the nation's 45th ranked total offense. With one half of football under his belt, quarterback Strong will not be entirely inexperienced in this matchup and has likely received significant first-team reps in preparation to start. The Red Raiders have surpassed the projected total in 5 out of the 7 games they've played so far, and they should have no trouble scoring against a Cougars team that has allowed an average of 35 points per game to quality opponents this season. That being said, Brigham Young University is also expected to find offensive success, and after a season low point total in the TCU game, Tech's defense, which allows 29 points per game, should make it possible for the Cougars to reach the mid-20s based on their average performance. I anticipate that the Red Raiders will score 30-plus points against this defense that consistently gives up over 400 yards per game, even if turnovers have bailed out the Cougars. I believe that the forced turnovers may not be sustainable for Brigham Young University, and even if Strong is the quarterback for Texas Tech, the Red Raiders coaching staff will have learned from last week's game and may employ a more conservative approach. It's possible that this matchup will require 35-plus points from one of the teams to secure a victory, given the below-average performance of both defenses in terms of yards and points allowed per game. Therefore, any total in the mid to low 50s is significantly underrated in my opinion. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. TCU versus Kansas State. In this Big 12 matchup, the TCU Horned Frogs will hit the road to face the Kansas State Wildcats on Saturday. TCU, which made an unexpected run to the NCAA championship game last season, is currently 4-3 this year, with a 2-2 record in conference play. Meanwhile, Kansas State enters this game with a 4-2 overall record and a 2-1 record in conference play. The Horned Frogs had a challenging start to their season, suffering a close loss to Colorado, 45-42. However, they bounced back with 3 consecutive wins, 41-6 against Nishaul State, 36-13 versus Houston, and 34-17 in a game against SMU. TCU's momentum was halted by losses to West Virginia and Iowa State in the following 2 games. In their most recent outing against Brigham Young University, TCU displayed an impressive performance, securing a 44-11 victory. Quarterback Josh Hoover had an outstanding game with 439 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Manny Bailey contributed 61 rushing yards, and John Paul Richardson led the receivers with 104 yards and a touchdown from 6 receptions. Kansas State started the season with dominant wins over Southeast Missouri State and Troy. However, they faced a tough 30-27 road loss to Missouri in their 3rd game. They rebounded with a 44-31 victory over UCF but stumbled again in Game 5, losing 29-21 to Oklahoma State. In their recent matchup against Texas Tech, Kansas State secured a 38-21 win, with Avery Johnson throwing for 77 yards and scoring 5 rushing touchdowns on 13 carries for 90 yards. Ben Sinnott led the team in receiving with 72 yards on 6 receptions. These two teams clashed twice last season, with TCU winning 38-28 at home during the regular season, and the Wildcats turning the tables in the Big 12 title game with a 31-28 victory. Both teams will be starting freshman quarterbacks in this game, with TCU introducing a freshman and Kansas State platooning true freshman Johnson in and out of the lineup. Kansas State had a rough outing in their loss to Oklahoma State, but they bounced back with a solid win against a banged-up Texas Tech team last week. TCU, on the other hand, has lost 2 out of their last 3 games, but they did have an impressive win against Brigham Young University with their backup quarterback in the previous game. However, their losses to Iowa State and West Virginia were not ideal. The initial spread for this game favored Kansas State by 7.5 points, but has since dropped to 6.5 points. The presence of freshman quarterback Josh Hoover, who is filling in for the injured Chandler Morris, is a concern. Hoover has thrown 6 touchdowns but has also thrown 4 interceptions. Combined with the challenging environment of playing in front of the hostile Manhattan crowd, this could pose a significant challenge for him. While trends don't dictate the outcome, it's worth noting that Kansas State has been strong at home, with a 6-1 against the spread record in their last 7 home games. Despite their quarterback situation, they are considered the better team and will have the home field advantage. It is believed that Kansas State will pull away in the second half, as they did in the previous week. So our full game side pick is for the Kansas State Wildcats to win and cover the spread as favorites. The initial total for this game was set at 57 points and has since increased by 2.5 points. This increase can be attributed to the improved offensive performance of the TCU team with freshman quarterback Hoover. Hoover led TCU to their highest offensive output of the season in the game against Brigham Young University. He is likely to perform better against a Kansas State defense that ranks in the lower third in terms of passing defense. Kansas State also has a strong offense, currently ranked 33rd in the country. While they often rely on their running game, they may choose to pass more against TCU's run defense. This shift in strategy should increase the pace of the game and contribute to a higher scoring contest. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Army vs. LSU. A midseason non-conference showdown is set for Saturday night as the Army Black Knights journey to face the number 19 LSU Tigers. Army has been an independent team since parting ways with the Conference USA in 2004. In their previous outing, the Black Knights were defeated at home, falling 19-0 to Troy despite entering the game as 6.5-point underdogs. On the other hand, LSU secured a convincing home victory over Auburn, defeating them 48-18 as 11-point favorites. Army competes as an Football Bowl subdivision independent team, granting them the flexibility to construct their schedule without mandatory conference opponents. The Black Knights face 2 top 25 ranked teams this season, including number 22 Air Force from the Mountain West and the currently number 19 ranked LSU squad. Army has secured 2 victories, one against football championship subdivision opponent Delaware State and the other against UTSA. In their most recent game, Army struggled with ball security, recording 4 turnovers, including 3 lost fumbles in the 19-0 loss to Troy. Offensively, Army is averaging 24.5 points per game and allows an average of 20 points defensively. Currently, the Black Knights are on a 3-game losing streak, with losses to Syracuse, Boston College, and Troy. Linebacker Leo Lowen leads the team in tackles with 35 this season, and fellow linebacker Jimmy Sirlo leads in sacks with 3. The defense has managed 8 takeaways on the year, including 4 interceptions and 4 fumble recoveries. The LSU Tigers maintain an outside shot at securing a spot in the college football playoff. To be in contention, they must continue winning, seek help to reach the Southeastern Conference Championship, defeat likely opponent Georgia, and have other teams defeat Ole Miss, who holds the tiebreaker over LSU. LSU trails Alabama in their division and will face the Crimson Tide in 2 weeks. The Tigers are known for their high-octane offense, ranking 2nd in the nation in total yardage and 3rd in scoring. Defensively, they allow an average of 30 points per game, which separates them from the top teams in college football. Safety Andre Sam leads the team in tackles with 47, and the defense has forced 7 takeaways over 7 games, with 6 different players recording interceptions. LSU has been engaged in high-scoring affairs, while Army may struggle to keep pace in such a game. LSU's offense is among the nation's best, ranking 2nd in yardage and 3rd in scoring. Their dual-threat quarterback, Jaden Daniels, has been putting up Heisman-worthy numbers. LSU has scored 34 or more points in their last 6 games, with 5 of those games against Southeastern Conference defenses. LSU's offensive prowess is expected to continue, especially against an Army team whose offense centers around quarterback Bryson Daly, who left the last game with an injury and is questionable for this one. Against Troy, Army was unable to score a single point, and their defense allowed 449 yards, indicating they might struggle to contain LSU. LSU boasts one of the most potent defenses in the nation and is currently on a 2-game winning streak. In contrast, Army has lost 3 straight games, with their most recent game resulting in a shutout. Although LSU's defense has been shaky, they have the firepower to outscore Army. Additionally, LSU cannot afford to underestimate Army, given their upcoming game against Alabama and 2 losses already this season. The point spread for this game may seem substantial for an LSU team that has faced defensive challenges recently. However, LSU's defense is comparatively better at stopping the run, which plays into their favor against Army's option offense. LSU's high-powered offense ranks second in the nation in yardage and third in scoring, and they are expected to continue their strong performance. In contrast, Army's offense may be disrupted if they are forced to play catch-up against LSU. While Army has a strong secondary, they are less competitive in the trenches, ranking 117th in the nation in both pass defense and sacks per game. So the LSU Tigers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. LSU has exceeded the total points in every game this season. With their remarkable offensive output, they have demonstrated their scoring ability. Furthermore, LSU's defense has yet to limit an opponent to under 10 points in any game this season. As Army only needs a couple of scoring drives to push the total beyond the projected score, they could accomplish that, given their past performance. Facing LSU's dual-threat quarterback, Jaden Daniels, Army's defense may face a tough challenge. LSU's offense averages 550 yards per game against tougher opponents, and they have recently found their rhythm, scoring at least 48 points in their last 3 games. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.